Hello students, this is Vidya Dhabai here. I welcome you back to my classes Excel in English by Vidya ma'am. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. Well, as you all know, we are continuing this series, these lessons with nouns, and some kinds we have done already, and I hope that all of you have understood those concepts very well, those kinds. And well, with these words, let's continue with the next kinds. That is concrete noun. Today, which I am going to take the kinds. Those are concrete nouns, abstract nouns. First, my lesson will be for this, and the next lesson will be for compound nouns, collective nouns. We'll continue like this, right? Another thing which I want to add before I start this today's topic is that like as you all know that in competitive exams generally errors we have to spot errors, so lots of errors exercises come on errors in nouns, based on nouns, right? So we would be taking these when I will complete this whole series, that is the kinds of noun. And another thing which I want to add to this is that some other concepts which I mentioned in my previous lesson also, that also I would be taking further, those concepts also, like singular, plural, or gender based also, and of course the case, noun case. So these topics also I will be taking in my further lessons. So and exercises also of course I will take when this whole kinds of nouns is complete. Okay, now with this word let's start today's topic. As you can see on the slide, the kind which is mentioned here is concrete noun, right? So concrete noun, if I begin, just one thing I ask you, that whatever you see around yourself, whatever things are there in the world, they exist in two forms, right? Either they are in physical form, that you can, physical form means either you can see them, you can touch them, you can taste them, like that, or you can just feel, right? So in two forms all the things exist. So that means of course nouns are naming words, so you have to name all those things which exist in physical form also, and which do not exist in physical forms, right? So that's why I have taken both these kinds of nouns today, abstract noun and concrete noun, because both of the nouns are related to this concept only, right? So with these words let's start. So I was saying ki whatever nouns you can see, whatever things, objects, living, non-living, you can see, you can physically feel them, those are known as concrete nouns, right? So let me read the definition first, then we'll continue with this. So the objects and substances that can be experienced through our senses are referred to as concrete noun, right? So senses means if you recall back of your school days, you might have studied in science that we have 5 sense organs, and those organs are of course ear, eyes, skin, and tongue, right? And each of these you can see on the screen also. That means we can touch, touch means your skin, feel, smell means nose, feel you can feel from the skin, taste of course from tongue, or hear them, that is which sense organ is used in that, ears, right? So the best easy way to recognize the concrete nouns is if you are using any of these 5 senses, right? That means those nouns are called concrete nouns, right? Now some examples are also given here, like let us take the first example, flowers. So which sense organ you will use? You will immediately say that touch or see. So many sense organs you will be using in this. First you can see the flowers, second you can touch them, third you can feel, you can smell also the fragrance of the flowers, right? Similarly panther, you can see, you can touch. Sunset, you can see. Sun rising or sunset, of course you can see. Rain also you can see and you can feel it also, the raindrops, right? And cookies you can taste, you can see. So from this only you can guess that what are concrete nouns, right? So that means all the physical objects are known as concrete nouns. Now another thing which I want to mention here, that these can be proper noun also, common noun also, these can be countable, these can be uncountable, right? Like sunset, sunset is not a countable noun. So this is, and of course rain also not countable. So that means this kind of noun includes all the proper, common, countable and uncountable nouns, right? So of course I have already told you these are related to our 5 sense organs. So just let me take some more examples. Suppose if I say a dog, so dog of course you can touch, you can you can see, so that means it is a concrete noun. Pizza, pizza you can touch, you can taste, so this is a concrete noun. Similarly noise, noise you can hear, so which of the sense organs is being used? Ears, ear, yes, so this is also a concrete noun, right? So I think this is not a very difficult for you. So I think you might have understood. I don't think any. So next kind of course which I have mentioned is that the abstract noun. Now what I have to mention here, both some nouns, before I start abstract noun, let me clarify that some nouns are there which can be abstract also and which can be concrete also, right? Suppose I take a subject, name of any subject, say statistics. Now statistics, if I talk about the questions which you solve, or maybe in maths also, mathematics also, physics also, now that becomes a concrete noun because you can solve, you can see when you solve the questions. But if I take it as a study field, like he is doing research in physics, so this becomes an abstract noun. Of course we'll discuss what are abstract nouns, so this point I have to clarify to you. So let's now take abstract noun. So this is also related to sense organs only. So the same point which I have explained you in concrete nouns, that is physical existence, sorry. So concrete nouns are related to physical existence. Just opposite to that, abstract nouns are, there is no physical existence of those. If you recall back the definition of nouns, where there besides name of place, animal, thing, etc., there were some words also written here, like names of idea, name of state of mind, name of stage of your life. So of course if I talk about these terms, you cannot use any of your sense organs in these, right? Like childhood, you cannot see, you cannot touch it, this is just a stage of your life. Like honesty, it's a quality, you cannot see, you cannot not touch, or sense organ cannot be used in this. So that means these nouns are known as abstract nouns. Now let me read out the definition, then we'll continue with this. So the abstract nouns are an aspect, concept, idea, experience, state of being, trait, quality, feeling or other entity that cannot be experienced with the 5 senses. So very simple way to recognize the abstract noun and concrete noun is just think about the 5 senses, whether you can use in the noun given or not, right? Now first point I have already explained you that no physical existence is there, they do not exist in physical form, the abstract nouns. And second, of course, they cannot be identified by any of our sense organs, that is hear, smell, taste, touch or see, right? And another point which you have to always remember is that they do not have plural form, right? Generally they do not have plural form. If we can see the examples here, like the first example is given, intelligence. So intelligence is always used in singular form. right? Joy, then justice, so youth, cleanliness, height. So these are some of the examples of abstract noun, and of course we do not use their plural. So this also you have to always remember. Then I feel ki some more examples I should give you, then I will explain you another concept of this. So I feel ki I will be taking a full exercise of abstract nouns, because this is a very wider concept, and why it is a wider concept, that I will tell you that whenever we generally what you see that nouns occur in noun words generally occur in original form, right? If I say classroom, so classroom, of course it is a compound noun, it is formed from which I am going to discuss in the next lesson. It is formed from class and room, but we take it as an original word, right? This has not been formed from an, or let me take any other say glass. So glass is not formed from any other word, it is an original word. But generally abstract nouns are formed from, these can be formed from adjectives or nouns or verbs. Now let me explain you this thing, how these are formed, right? Now let us take the examples only. Like first example, which you can see on the slide, is intelligence. So can you guess from which word this is formed? It can be an adjective also, it can be a noun also, it can be a verb also, but I don't think you can recall any verb form of this. No, right? So what the word from which this is formed is an adjective, and that is intelligent, right? So intelligence abstract noun is being formed from intelligent. Now joy, of course it is joy is original word. Justice is this abstract noun is formed from the word, that is a noun, which is judge. So judge is a noun, and from judge the abstract noun formed is justice. Let's take next one, youth. Youth is also formed from an adjective, that is young. Okay, now the next example is cleanliness. Of course cleanliness is being formed with the original word clean, which is an adjective. Now height is also formed from adjective high. Now let us take some more examples of the abstract nouns which are formed from nouns, right? Let's take first example, child. So the abstract noun which can be formed from child is childhood, right? Similarly, let me take some from verbs, right? So let me take verb die. So the abstract noun which can be formed from die is death. Similarly, born, birth. And similarly, behave, from the verb behave, which abstract noun can be formed, that is behavior. Another one, let me take another one, that is obey, and the abstract noun formed from this verb is obedience, right? I think these much examples are sufficient for you, and of course I will be taking one full exercise of this thing, forming the abstract noun from these from the words given, of course the adjectives, noun and the verb. So we will be taking an exercise when we will be of course when this topic is we will complete this topic, then some exercise will be also we will be taking, so we will take the exercise at that time. Now let's move to the next kind, that is, as you can see in the slide, that is collective noun, right? So collective noun is generally, whenever we use in simple terms, if I explain you, whatever one word we use for one whole class of same category, now it can be a living thing also, it can be a non-living things also. So that means whenever we use one single word for a whole group of something, that word is known as collective noun. Suppose I say I want to use a word for a group of say cards. So one single word which I used for cards is pack, right? So that means for cards the collective noun is pack, right? Similarly, for I want to use a word for a group of birds, so I would use flight. So flight is a collective noun, right? Now let me read out the definition, then we'll continue with this topic. So so students, the collective noun is a word which denotes groups of people, animals, objects, concepts or ideas as single entity. Now you must remember, not only people, animal or objects, it also includes concepts or ideas also, right? So just keep this thing in your mind. And as you can see in the slide, and first is given the category which the collective nouns generally which we use for people, means a group of persons. Like suppose if I say a group of musicians, so I would use a choir of musicians, right? Similarly, board word you can see on the slide. Board is used for a group of people when they are making some kind of decision, or they are playing a part in some important assignment. They have been given a particular assignment and so they are members of that. Choir is also already I have mentioned, group of musicians. Then class, of course class is group of students. Next, committee. Committee can be it can be a group of persons for many purposes. Like purpose can be different. It can be for some judgment also, it can be for some special purpose also. Then family. Family is members living together, like father, mother, sister, brother. And of course family can also include grandparents also, grandfather, grandmother, right? So some rules I will be explaining you when we just finished with the examples, what rules we have to follow. And of course let me remind you this thing also, that when I talk about rules, generally students say or just ask for just give us the rules of errors, which errors are generally made in nouns. So ma'am, please give us, or just give us the rules. So generally it's not a good idea to write down the rules in your notebooks. It's better if we do exercise, because there are no set rules. It's better when we do the exercises, then you spot the errors, then you can memorize those. So that is a better idea. Of course, with related with collective nouns, some rules I will be explaining you verbally here. So let me take first the examples. So animals, the collective nouns, some of the collective nouns which we use for animals, all are not given here on the slide, some are given. For animals like flock, I already mentioned, flight is also used, and flock is also used for birds. Then herd of sheep. Then pod of then next you can see swarm. So these are some of the collective nouns used for swarm of bees. So these are for some animals or birds also you can say. And next is for things, like bunch we generally use for bananas, grapes. And next is heap is used for stones, a heap of stones. Fleet we use generally for ships and for cars also. One more thing which I want to remind you is that generally sometimes happens that one same collective noun is used for 2-3 nouns, 2-3 group of living things or non-living things also. Like for example, the collective noun pack we use for cards also, and pack we use for wolves also, wolves, right? Pack of wolves. So remember this thing also, like it is written here also. The next is pack, and then set of books, set of bangles, like that. So that's the examples. Now let me discuss some rules which we have to follow while using collective nouns, right? So first thing which you have to remember is that suppose you can see example here, family, right? So Generally we use singular verb with the collective nouns, but there are some collective nouns with which plural also goes. Like when we use families instead of family, then of course we will use plural noun. So that is the first rule. Then but another is that some collective nouns, when its members are performing the function as one single unit, right? For example, jury. Jury is the collective noun, a group of judges. For a group of judges, the collective noun which is used is jury, right? So when all those judges, they are acting together as a unit, then we have to take singular verb. Like the jury gives its judgment, okay, today. But if they are members of those collective noun, they are functioning individually, then we have to use plural verb. So you have to remember this thing when you use collective nouns. So these are some of the rules which we have to follow while using collective nouns. So I think this much is sufficient for you today. I hope you have understood the concepts. And what I feel that I must in my next lesson some exercises we can take, that I will think later on, or you can give your ideas also, guys, that whether you want some exercises first or you want to continue with the kinds. So let me just check it out. Otherwise we will be continue with next kinds of noun. I think that's all for today's class. I hope you have understood, and we'll continue with this with the next kinds of nouns in my next lesson. So that's all. Thank you. Hello students, welcome back. This is Vidya Dhabai here. I welcome you all to my classes, Vidya ma'am's classes. So as I have taught you in my previous lesson the kinds of noun, I hope you recall which kinds we have done in our previous lesson. Of course, abstract nouns and concrete nouns. I hope you have understood those kinds very well. Hope no queries are there. Just to recall back, I will take a few minutes. Let me recall those things if you have any doubts. So we discussed about abstract noun and concrete noun in my previous lesson. So one thing, the most important which is when we talk about concrete nouns and abstract noun, is that they are related to sense organs, right? In one or another point is physical, which I told you in my previous lesson is physical appearance and no physical appearance, right? So that is the main criteria to distinguish between the concrete nouns and the abstract nouns. Like abstract noun do not come in physical form, and concrete nouns we can see, we can touch them, we can taste them, we can feel them. So that's all about the previous kinds of noun which we have done. So let's come to the next kinds which I am going to discuss in this lesson, that is the material noun, and the next kind of noun and the last one which I am going to teach you in this lesson is compound noun, right? Okay, let's begin the first first kind of this lesson, that is material noun. As you can guess from the word material, material means any object, right? And you know that from objects further objects are made. Like for example, if I say wool, so what is made from wool? Of course, sweater, jackets, cardigans. Or if I say any metal, let's say gold or iron or silver, what is made from all these metals? Of course, jewelry or some other articles, like from iron many other articles can be made. So basically, in very simple terms, what are material nouns? So material nouns are those objects from which other things can be made, and of course they appear in physical appearance. That means we can see them, we can touch them, So let me read out the definition first, then we'll continue. The material noun is a substance, an ingredient. Now just remember this word always when you have to mention, when you have to study material noun. Ingredient. So what is the meaning of ingredient? Because ingredient word you might have come across when you cook something, or when some other thing is made. So whatever objects or substances we put in that, whether it is a cooking part, whether name any dish or some other thing you are making. Suppose you are just making a painting. So what are the ingredients? Of course, the first ingredient is paint, right? So that is the meaning of ingredient. So if you will remember this word, you will remember what are material nouns. Okay, or a material that we can touch and see, and it is used to make other things as well, right? So the main thing is that other things are made from material nouns. So some examples are given here. You can see on the slide, that is water, gold, sand, milk, wool, etc. So these are some of the examples of the material nouns. Now let's continue with this only. So guys, material nouns generally occur in nature. We get these from the nature only, in the form, whether we can directly, like for examples, if you remember in geography or in science, you might have studied about minerals, right? So minerals are categorized into two objects, non-metals and metals. And from where do we get these? Of course from nature, that is from earth. So non-metals are just the like rocks, you can say marble. So these are the concept why nature is given. That's why it is given. From nature we get minerals, non-metals and metals. So all those are related to this are material nouns. Next is we get from animals also. So all the objects which we get, all the materials which we get from animals. So can you recall? Of course you can recall. Wool we get from animals, silk we get from animals, milk we get from animals, meat also we get from animals. So all these are material nouns. And next, plants. Now so many things are there that we get from plants. So you can name at least dozens of things which we get from plants. Of course medicines, we use wood also for furniture. We get medicines, lot of medicines are made from plants. Flowers, if we talk about, perfumes are made from flowers. So in this way, generally material nouns can be categorized, that the source from where we get these nouns, the materials are nature, animal and plants. So this is about from where do we get. Now let me, some rules are also there which we follow when we talk about material nouns. Generally if you see the examples which are given on the slide, so what common thing you see in there, these, all of these, water, gold, sand, milk, wool, are these countable? Of course no, these are all uncountable. And if you go through all other material nouns also, what you will see, these are uncountable nouns, right? So the first fact for this is these are always generally uncountable, and because they come in solid, liquid or semi-liquid form, right? Like when I talk about semi-liquid, so like honey is semi-liquid, milk is liquid, right? And of course gold, sand, and these are solid forms, water is liquid. Next thing is that generally these are common nouns. You can see all the examples, or if you just take other examples also, what you will see, that these all are common nouns. So these are some these are the facts of material nouns. And next fact or next rule you can say is about that, since these are common nouns, and before I take the next rule, let me just tell you that if you talk about all these examples which are given on the slide, so how you will measure them? Because they are not countable, they are uncountable. So of course what you will use quantifiers for these objects, right? So if we use quantifiers, like if I say gold, I will not say 1 gold, 2 gold, a gold. I will just say 1 gram of gold or 2 grams of gold. If we talk about water, I will say 1 liter, 2 liters of water. Sand, if I say kg, kilograms of sand or tons of sand. Milk also will come in liter, because generally all the liquids we use, the capacity for liquids is liters or milliliters, and wool also in kgs or in much more extended form. So that means we use quantifiers for these kinds of material nouns. Since these are quantifiers, quantifiers are used and they are uncountable, so of course the next rule just comes out from this only, that we cannot use the indefinite article, that is a or an. So we do not use a or an in material nouns. So this is all about material nouns. Now I hope you have understood this kind of noun. Now let's move to the next kind, that's compound nouns, right? So before I begin with this kind of noun, let me recall your some science topic, right? If you just remember, you might have studied in science the terms compound, mixture, element. Now don't I don't think this thought should come in your mind that I was not a science student, how could I recall? So guys, you have studied this in your middle school or before that also. Not only you are in higher school only, these terms you might have come across during your 6th class, 7th or 8th, like that. So what is a compound? If you remember what you have studied in science. So a compound is basically any substance made up of 2 elements. In science, though, of course, you have studied that any elements in fixed proportion, if they are combined, it is a combination of elements that we call compound. So same thing comes here also, that when we make a combination of 2 words or 3 words, so the word formed from those 2 or 3 words is called compound noun. As the name, always whenever you study something in grammar, the name itself tells the meaning also many times, right? So now before explaining this is in very detail, let me first read out the definition which is given here. You can see on the slide. A compound noun is a noun that is made with 2 or more words, as I have explained you. Each compound noun acts as a single unit and can be modified by adjectives or other nouns. So this term I will be explaining you how it can be modified with adjectives when we will be talking about combination of compound nouns, like with which combinations of parts of speech we can make compound nouns, like suppose noun plus noun, adjective plus noun. If we combine like this, a compound noun is formed. So there are 3 forms for compound nouns: open or spaced space between words, like example is given, tennis shoe. Then second is hyphenated, hyphen between 2 words, and another is closed. One third is which is closed, when there is no space between the, like bookworm or bedroom, there is no space when we form these words, so these are known as closed. So this is the definition. Now let me explain you this in detail. In the next slide you can see the next parts of this. So as I have discussed that there are generally 3 kinds of compound noun, and after discussing about the kinds of compound noun, I will explain you how we frame compound nouns. But let us first discuss this thing only. So the first kind which you can see in the slide here is open compound or spaced compound. So as the name suggests only, when there is a gap between the two words from which it is formed, that kind of compound noun is known as open compound or spaced compound. Let me read out the definition first. Words are formed when two words remain separate on the page but are used together to create a new idea with a specific meaning. Let me explain you this thing with the examples. Now you can see the examples here. Ice cream. Of course, ice is a separate word and cream is a separate word, and if we use these two words separately, they have different meanings. But when we combine these two words, it becomes a different word and it has a different meaning also. So the next example given, real estate. So if you separate these two words, in every example you will see that if you separate these words, they have a separate meaning. But if we combine those two words, a new meaning comes out and a compound noun is formed. So you can see the definitions: high school, living room, sweet tooth, hot dog, grand jury, next is post office, and full moon, half sister, cave in. So these are some of the examples of open compound nouns, or we call them spaced compound nouns also. I hope you have understood this kind, and I think this is a very creative thing also. Just make combinations of this kind or the next kinds also. You can use your imagination also. Let me see how imaginative you are. Just make new words from single words. So let's move to the next kind, that is, you can see on the screen, hyphenated. So of course the meaning you can guess from this hyphen. What is hyphen? You might remember, you might have done this in punctuation when you might have done the topic. So this topic comes in that. So whenever we use a hyphen in making compound words, that kind of noun is known as hyphenated compound noun. Okay. Now let me read out the definition for you. Then I will continue with the next kind. First let us take the examples, right? Okay, let's take. So the first example which is given here is twofold. Now this is made from the words two and fold, right? Of course, like I have said previously, if we separate the words, they have separate meaning, right? And when we combine, then they have a different meaning. So twofold means two ways. Next is check-in. Check-in means to just go somewhere, arrive somewhere. Then the next word is merry-go-round. Now just check out this thing, that this word is framed from three original words, right? Merry, which means happy, if we just use it in individual form. Go, of course you know the meaning, and round, of course you know. But when we combine these three words, the meaning is totally different, right? Because merry-go-round means it is the name of swing also. So a very new meaning originates from this word. So next is father-in-law. Of course you know what is the meaning. Then 72, long term. The next example is up to date, and then mother-in-law, and next is one half. Now remember one thing, like if you remember fractions in maths, so 1/4, one half, these terms were used in that. So those were actually hyphenated compound nouns. So these are some of the examples of hyphenated compound nouns. Now I hope you have understood. Now let's move to the next kind, that is the closed compound nouns, right? So closed compound nouns are those compound words which, when we form those nouns, we do not we do not use hyphen, or we do not use space to form those words, right? Like earlier I said bedroom, no space is there between these, right? So that means, so let us take the examples, you will understand it better. First I would read out the definition. So closed compound nouns are those The words are formed when two fully independent, unique words. Now, why the unique word is used? Because, as I have told you already, when we separate the words, they have totally different meaning. Are combined to create a new word. For example, you would combine grand and mother, and if we separate, grand is totally different word and mother is of course different, but when we combine it, a new meaning comes out, right? So grand and mother to create the closed form word grandmother. In a sentence, this would look like, of course you can make any sentence. My grandmother is 90 years old, my grandmother cooks very nice food, or like that. And here the example which is given is, my grandmother is coming over. So these are the most some common words which we use in closed form, and you can see some more examples also. And along with that, when I am reading out the examples, I will explain you that also, of course in detail also I will explain combinations. In the beginning only I have used that. I will also explain you the combinations which we use when we frame, when we form compound nouns, right? So the first example which is given, which you can see here, is bullfrog. So this word is made from the word bull and frog. Now what is bull? Is it an adjective, or it is a noun, or it is a verb? So of course bull is a noun and frog is also a noun. So that means which combination is there here? Yes, you have understood well. It is made from noun plus noun. So that is the first combination by how we frame these compound nouns, right? Next you can see snow and ball, snowball. Both snow and ball are nouns, so this combination is also of noun plus noun. Then next is mailbox, made from mail and box. Grandmother we have already discussed. Railroad, both rail and road are nouns. Next, just see the next example, sometimes. Now what is some? Of course some is adjective and times is noun, abstract noun. So this combination is which combination is there? Adjective plus noun. Yes, so this is another combination. Next, inside. What is in? In is preposition and side is noun. So which combination? Preposition plus noun. So that till now we have I have told you three combinations from which we frame, which we form the compound nouns. First was, yes, noun plus noun, and second adjective plus noun. Third is preposition plus noun. Now see the next one, upstream. This is just like the above example, preposition plus noun. And the next we have already discussed, noun plus noun, basketball. Of course all these examples are examples of closed, don't forget this thing also. I am reading out the examples of closed compound nouns. Okay, that's all for kinds of compound noun. But let me now take the combination which I was talking about earlier in this lesson. So let me just take the combinations by which we can frame compound nouns. So the first combination, noun plus noun, I have already discussed. I will give you some more examples. Now remember this thing also, that when I talk about compositions or combinations, in this all the three kinds can come, right? If I say noun plus noun, examples are bedroom, toothpaste, or warehouse. The next is verb plus noun, which I have not discussed in these examples, which we discussed right now in closed compound nouns. So verb plus noun. Now actually this is a very interesting part. You can use immediately you can use this thing when I am talking with you. Like if I say verb plus noun, think about a verb and a noun and join those words. Just see whether a compound noun can form. This is just an exercise. It is a brain game also, you can say. So this way this lesson will become more interesting also, right? Like if you remember in my previous lesson, when I was teaching parts of speech to you, so there I have used a poem to just remember how all the parts of speech. So whenever I will suggest you this thing, like if you remember, especially the science students, that we were when you might have studied about the physical properties, or the what do we call them, chain groups, or you can say properties, or you might have used some techniques to memorize those things. So similarly, use those techniques in English also. It is also a very it's not so it's a very beautiful language, and it is a very good subject, so you can use those techniques also here. So let's come to today's point, today's topic. So we were discussing about the combination verb plus noun. Now I hope till now many words might have come to your mind. So let me give you example, then you can use your own examples. So first example of this is washing machine. So washing is verb and machine is noun. So then compound word framed from this is washing machine. Next is yearly subscription. Yearly, of course, adjective. This is an example of adjective plus noun. So the next combination is adjective plus noun, yearly subscription, right? Similarly, software. Soft is adjective and ware is noun, so adjective plus noun. Laughing Buddha. Now what is laughing here? Of course, verb. So verb plus noun. Swimming pool, verb plus noun. So the next is preposition plus noun, and preposition plus noun, if you just see closed, I have used the examples inside. So this is an example of preposition plus noun. Then some other examples are underground, off track, overview. All these are examples of preposition plus noun, like overview. Over is preposition and view is noun, right? So there is a lot of words you can make yourself from these combinations. So the next combination is noun plus verb. Earlier we have read verb plus noun. Now I have just reversed it, noun plus verb. So the example of this is haircut. Hair is noun and cut is verb. So haircut. Rainfall is also an example of noun plus verb combination, right? What I suggest is that whatever combinations, although no need to say this, note down this in your notebook, because earlier in my earlier lessons also I have said that always just keep a notebook, a pen with you to note down my important points also, whatever I am teaching you, and whatever other when I am teaching you, and related to that only some things come to your mind, note that also. So it is this habit you must inculcate, that whenever something is taught, notebook and pen you should always have, right? So let's move to the next combination, that is adjective plus verb. So dry cleaning. Dry cleaning is the example, and cold store, and next is hot bath. So hot is adjective and bath is verb. So this is the combination example of adjective plus verb. Well, I think this is all about the combinations, the different combinations from which we frame these compound nouns, and I hope you have understood, because we have done in a creative way also. So that's all about kinds of noun. One aspect of noun we have completed in these lessons. Now I will continue with the nouns only, in which I will be taking the case like possessive, and which I discussed with you earlier also, the different cases of noun, subjective, objective, nominative, in my next lessons. And I would also like to just a very brief lesson about the nouns as gender and nouns as number, singular, plural. So that also I will be taking, and of course after that we will be doing exercises on whatever I have taught you till now, or error spotting, these things we will also discuss, and after that we will continue with the next part of speech, that is adjectives. But before, I will cover up all the other aspects of nouns, and I think that's sufficient. That's all for today's class. Thank you.